Hello everybody, and welcome to either a Judge Mathis or an early look or something along the lines of those of the Stomping Land. The Stomping Land. There was quite a bit of buzz about this game prior to it releasing on Steam. And kind of the closest thing you can say to describe it is like DayZ, but with no zombies and instead dinosaurs. And it really does kind of serve that purpose. It's a multiplayer, primarily, survival sandbox, where you are attempting to live every day and sate your hunger and survive while other people, other players are roaming this island trying to do the same as you. And because these games kind of harness the worst of the people themselves, getting kidnapped, getting killed is kind of par for the course at this stage. Particularly this early with the game Black Box Studios has out right now. It is early access. So that means the content within the game itself isn't very copious, I guess. So there's not a whole lot to do. And when boredom does strike, players tend to be dicks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to talk about it, and obviously I don't think this is honestly going to be a Judge Mathis because I still think it's too early in the game's release to do such a thing. But we will play a bit, and I do want to kind of give my opinions on what I think of the game, what I think of the idea, so on and so forth. So right now, they do have dedicated servers, which is great. Not dedicated servers. They do have a server list, rather, which is great. You can kind of do all kinds of... You can kind of sort it through a bunch of different ways, a lot of different ones. But I'm going to grab this first one here and describe Caveman Rule. There are official servers, and there's community servers, though they look a little bit weird. And we're just going to go ahead and connect to this one right here. Nope, looks like that one filled up. So let's see. Let's get onto a server here. Caveman Rule. It looks like it's there. No, guess not. So let's go ahead and hit refresh. Maybe give us a fresh server list and see what we can get. It looks like right now the maximum amount of players allowed on a server right now, by the way, is 24. That is the most I've seen. Unless community servers have cranked that number up, which it does not seem to be the case. But I'm hoping later on we'll see a bigger island with a higher player capacity. Also, I don't want to go on a... you know what? French server. We could go on a French server. Team SM, whatever that means. Alright, none of these want to connect. Holy crap. This is the hardest time I've had of getting on a server so far. Crimson Core, all welcome. Perfect. Alright, you know what? I'll start recording once I'm on a server. I'll be right back. With a quick reboot of the game, things seem to be in working order. And here we are, dumped into our land. I did get Caveman Rule. That's the one I got in. And this is the Stomping Land. It's a game that's built on the Unreal Engine, so... graphically, it's going to be okay. Obviously, it's still really early in its development. There's some dinosaurs over there, so let's get over there. Get out of the way. Graphically, obviously, it's still really early in development. It's not the greatest looking game, and some of the details and textures are really, really poor. But generally speaking, the character models themselves and the dinosaur models themselves have been pretty good. And this is kind of your tribeman. He's kind of cool looking. I like it a lot. But every single character, there is no character customization yet. So every single player in the game looks exactly like you. And none of them have nameplates above them. So if you are playing with friends, it's pretty fucking hard to tell who's who, as far as I can tell. Unless there is a way to form up a party, which I think... the tribe mechanic is going to be later on. But for right now, there's really not much, as far as I can tell, to be able to party up. So... your controls are pretty simple. WASD to move around, left click to swing whatever you have in your hand, right click will jump, which is kind of weird, and shift will sprint. I think I said that already. And spacebar actually opens up your crafting menu, which for the most part looks kind of cool. And it is your job to survive. So on the right hand side, you're going to see kind of how visible we are with that eyeball. The brighter it is, the more visible you are as something sees you. Below that, if you can kind of see it, is a very translucent food marker. The only thing I've ever come across to eat right now is meat, so killing dinosaurs is going to be your first order of business, and it is up to you to kind of figure out how to do that. Now, there is no tutorial in the game, so figuring that out took me some time. Luckily, I've put a couple hours into the game itself to really figure out how things work, and it's very simple as far as I've been able to tell. So you run up to a tree, and you need to chop it down, and a lot like other games like this, you just kind of click it until it gives you something, and then you pick up a log. And then you keep chopping it, and then you pick up another log, and you drop it. You just click to drop it. And you do this for a while, and you can gather about 5 or 6. I don't know how many you can fit in a basket. I put about 10 in there, and I never tried putting any more in it. But you kind of fill up this basket, and as you fill it up, the basket gets bigger and bigger. And this is one of the earliest mechanics that I'm going to say I actually kind of like. One of the cool things you do is you're allowed to drag this basket around. So it's really important. Oh, there's a player over there, as you can see. I might just die here, actually. We'll see. I don't know if they saw me. So hang on, we'll see if this player sees us here. So if I wanted to interact with something, we can hit E and it'll bring this up. And I can go ahead and click pull and a rope will be attached to it. And then I can start dragging this around. So if I really want to, you know, not really want to, but to make crafting much, much easier, you're going to want to just kind of drag this around, and then you can like gather rocks by clicking on it and grabbing onto things and so on and so forth. And I don't know if he thinks I didn't see him, but what I'm going to go ahead and do is craft a spear right away. So we just click on it. Yeah, he's just going to, and here we go. We're going to get kidnapped. Well, he's going to save me, or is he going to kill me? He's just going to leave me. So that was one of the mechanics in the game. Wow, that was actually a really interesting kind of interaction. Thank you, kind stranger. We'll go ahead and hit enter and then do this. So what actually just happened there is we got bola'd. So that's one of the cool mechanics in the game. There's bolas you can make, right? And what the bolas do is you can throw them at somebody, as you saw him throw them at me, and you can wrap up their feet. And then you can go up to the person and then grab them with a rope and drag them around and kidnap them. That happens a lot in this game, which is not surprising. Kidnapping happens a lot. Luckily, somebody saw it happen, actually killed him and freed me. That is the first kind gesture I have seen so far in this game. And that's awesome. All right, so we crafted ourselves a spear. As you can see, the crafting menu, if we hit E and interact, it gives us a list of things we can craft with the things that we have. Now, I don't know if it has to be a bug. Right now, if you craft certain things, it actually takes up the entirety of what you've harvested so far. And that's a kind of a pain in the butt, because if you craft more than you need for a certain item, it doesn't really matter, because you're going to end up getting all that stuff is going to end up getting used. So you're going to end up losing it all. Again, alpha is alpha, and it's going to be, you know, fixed over time. So with that being said, the next thing you want to do is get a fire pit up and running. So you need to get a fire pit up and running so you can actually cook some meat and eat some meat. As you can see, our hunger icon is getting a bit more bright. So let's go ahead and grab this. Let's drag this over here. And let's go ahead and plop this sucker down. And we'll start getting a fire pit up and see if we can get it. All the while keeping our eyes on the kind of surrounding area here. And let's go ahead and chop down a little bit more. Let's see what it takes to make a fire pit. Can I actually make a fire pit now? I can. So it's actually going to just... is it going to craft it right there? We'll find out, won't we? All right, and there we go. We have a fire pit. So now with this fire pit, I can start a fire. I could take it down, which I'm not entirely sure what that does, to be honest with you. But for now, you know what? Well, we can't stop ourselves. Oh, nope, we can. So for now, we'll just leave it there, and let's head into the forest. What we need to do is find some passive dinosaurs, particularly herbivores. Not necessarily passive, but ones that are not going to attack you at the start, and see if we can kill them. So it's going to take out our spear here. We could swap weapons like you would in any other kind of game, with you hit the 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 keys, so on and so forth. And let's march ourselves into the woods and see if we can find some sort of food. Now, you're going to notice a lot of popping. At least I've noticed a lot of popping in this game. It's just kind of the environment popping in and around you. And more importantly, a lot like games like DayZ, if you have the option, which I'm not actually entirely sure, we do not. I don't know if it'll be presented later, but if you have the option later, you're going to want to turn grass off. Not because it's a performance hog, but because further off in the distance, it's way easier to see other players. For now, if I wanted to hide here, like amongst the grass, a player a few feet in front of me would be able to see me a lot easier than I would be able to see myself, because the grass around me hasn't actually loaded in for that particular person. So hiding in tall grass is not something you can actually do in this game, which again is mildly frustrating in games like this where stealth is actually imperative to surviving. But overall, it's not a game breaker. It's just a frustrating fact of the game right now. So let's go ahead and pop around and keep on looking. A lot of players tend to put their houses and stuff on the beach like I did. Might not have been a good idea, and the reason for that is because since there are lots of players constantly on the beach, and spawning on the beach is very, very often for new spawns, getting discovered is really early. It is very common, should I say. All right, I'm not coming across any dinosaurs. With this game, I've either come across a ton of dinosaurs or no dinosaurs. I have been killed by a T-Rex once, though. And that was kind of a cool experience. The AI for the dinosaurs, though, doesn't stop chasing you, I've realized. They are a huge pain. They will chase you until the fucking end, to the point where I ran and swam into the ocean, and he just followed me into the ocean and killed me there. So far, really nothing. I don't think maybe there is, but I haven't come across any, like, herb picking and berry picking. And at the right-hand side, I do see, like, an icon for it. Nothing around here yet, which is unfortunate. Dying of starvation is also kind of common. Now, there's a totem up there, so this is something you can do. You can actually create this totem, which will create tribes. And tribes kind of act like a guild. So if you and your friend want to create a tribe, you can do so. That's what this is right here. Somebody putting a totem down. The problem with it, I don't think I can... Maybe I can chop it down. The problem with it is that it really doesn't, as of right now, provide any substantial benefits. People have been creating totems and tribes just to kind of play with one another, but for the most part, there are no benefits toward creating a tribe as of right now. Now, I know there is plans to creating tribes. There are plans, rather, to benefits of creating tribes, but as of right now, there is no big benefit. What I can see a lot of later on in the game, which is going to be really kind of cool, is like warring tribes on the island. And that itself would be a really big draw for me. But right now, the game is just really bare bones. And you got to keep in mind, too, this is a $25 game on Steam. The reason I'm covering this is primarily because this game is a very early alpha. In my opinion, it's a very early alpha. And it's pretty damn expensive. And for what it offers right now, there's just not a whole lot here. Kind of like the forest. The forest is exciting. I got, I thought I heard somebody. I apologize. I got a little overly excited for the forest, and that's kind of me getting, falling into that hype train a little bit of a game that I was already excited for. But even the forest, pushing for 7 videos in the forest was even slightly difficult because there is not a whole lot of content there. And I guess the same can be said about the Stomping Lands. I think maybe the Stomping Lands might provide a little bit more entertainment for people because there is a multiplayer aspect to the game. So running into the player and having that emergent storytelling kind of come about naturally is a bit more present than something in like the forest where there is no co-op or there is no multiplayer as of yet. Though I'm pretty sure it is planned. And this is another complaint I have. For a very small island, dinosaurs are sparse. And I feel like that should not be the case, and something that kind of touts itself as being a very dinosaur heavy kind of game. For a dinosaur game, there's not a whole lot of dinosaurs, and it kind of sucks. Oh. That sounded like an herbivore dinosaur that I've run across before. Ah, there he is right now. So here we go. We got some food. So let's go ahead and see if we can actually do some damage here. I don't know if he's going to run from me. It looks like he is. Maybe not. So we're going to go ahead and stab him. Nothing ended up happening. Come here, you son of a bitch. And he's going to get away. Damn it. I'm hoping that we can catch up to him. Hey, buddy. What's going on? Ah, we need food. So this is one of the parts of the game that I guess holds true to being a native in a dinosaur land. Hunting dinosaurs is a pain, and it's way easier to hunt in a pack of players, especially when someone has a bow and stuff. That's maybe something I should have worked on, was getting a bow, but you also need to get arrows for that bow. And I have not really used the bow all that often, and a bow is not incredibly accurate. But he's just, you know what? All right. Screw it. We might die of hunger. That's fine. The one dinosaur that I've been able to actually maybe hunt is just running from me. All right, let's see if I can just sneak up to it. Maybe after it goes over the hill, I'll be able to catch up to him. Yeah, he was running from me. All right, I got him. There we go. Good stab, and we'll go ahead and take our axe. So now, what we want to do is take some meat and put it down. And we'll do the same. You kind of do the same thing like you do to rocks and trees. You just kind of harvest it for as much as you can here. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is pull the small meat. We're going to get ourselves a fire pit up and running. Let's go ahead and bring it to the beach here, just because it's a much clearer area to see. And when you're dragging things like this, by the way, it slows you down pretty significantly, which makes sense. And let's see if we can get some food cooked up. Now, other things you can do is create like a teepee and a tent, which will allow you to kind of spawn back at the area. There are fish in the water, which I don't know if you can actually kill and eat, but I've never tried it because swimming is kind of a pain. And that's about it. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to do in the game yet. But what's here, and this is the point of making the video and why I wanted to talk about it, is different and exciting enough that keeping an eye on it is something I would highly suggest. I just wouldn't necessarily suggest picking it up quite yet. And it's only because of how expensive it is. They're charging $25, and what's here, in my opinion, isn't $25 worth of material. What's here is a promising, although early, version of a game that looks to do something different with the survival sandbox. Taking out the zombies, putting in dinosaurs, getting rid of guns, making things, you know, tribal and melee with bows and axes and stuff. No crafting guns, none of that silliness. And the idea of dinosaurs being on the island is really cool. I'd love to see the dinosaur numbers be brought up, though. As of right now, dinosaurs are rare and few and far between. I've only run into them a couple of times. As you did, we were lucky enough to see them really early in this video, which was good. But unfortunately, there wasn't much I could do about them. I couldn't fight them. I didn't have any weapons, and my axe would not have done well against like a triceratops and so on. But I'd love to see the island get bigger, which of course will take time. There are cave systems in the game right now. I would highly suggest avoiding cave systems if you own this game. And the reason for that is they're pitch black unless you have a torch. Finding your way out is goddamn near impossible. And if you swim, your torch goes out and you end up just dying. And it's not entirely all that fun. I don't know. Oop. And now we might have a buggy situation on our hands here. I don't know what's happening. The game could be crashing. Oh, there might have been a lag spike there. That could have been what that was. So let's try and make that fire pit again. There we go. So we'll go ahead and grab this fire pit. And we can start a fire. We can cook up some food. Let's go ahead and grab this. And we can start a fire. There we go. Let's go ahead and drag this across here. And I don't know if I need to... Oh, I'm actually grabbing it right now. Let's actually pull it away. I wonder if I need to just grab the small meat. What the hell is that? Oh, it's like my character doesn't want to... All right. Well, I don't know how to get the meat on there. Interesting. I don't know how to get the meat on there. Oh, looks like he was spearfishing. So yes, you can go fishing. Either way, I'm actually going to end up wrapping this video up right here. Again, and that's the thing. It's like, well, Mathis, you've barely shown us anything. Well, that's the thing. There's not much to show. Like, what's here is kind of a concept, and the concept is in working order for what's here. But overall, there's still not a whole lot to show off. And this is an exciting game, and its premise is kind of cool. Yeah, you can kind of kidnap people, and yeah, you can mount a particular dinosaur so long as you capture him with, like, I think bolas and whatnot. But overall, there's just not a whole bunch here as of yet. And when there is more here, I think this is going to be a really fun open world multiplayer survival sandbox that differentiates itself well enough from the rest that it would be worth checking out. And it adds a new flavor to what's kind of generally... it adds a new flavor to what's generally already a very overdone genre. And I think that though the mechanics here are tried and true and they're a bit cliche and overdone, you know, surviving and eating and all that good stuff, the addition of dinosaurs in the kind of different skin of creating a tribal, more caveman-esque world really does do a good job at creating a really cool idea for a game. And with time, with expansion, with more a bigger island and more dinosaurs, we could see a really special game on our hands. But right now, I personally would say just don't necessarily buy into the hype just yet. There is not hours of entertainment here quite yet. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I was able to present my thoughts pretty clearly on the game itself. If you want more, make sure you check out and hit that subscribe button and check out other videos just like this one. And if you enjoyed it, consider hitting that like button, as it helps me out a great deal. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.